On a school trip, my best friend asked if you had to choose between your mom and girlfriend to live, who would you pick? It was supposed to be a fun senior trip to Washington, D.C., 3 days of monuments, museums, and staying up way too late in hotel rooms. My best friend Marcus and I had been planning it since sophomore year, saving up money from our summer jobs to afford the nice hotel rooms our school was booking. The bus ride from Ohio took about 7 hours. Marcus sat next to me like always, but something felt different. He kept checking his phone, then putting it away without responding to anything. His knee bounced constantly against mine, and when I asked if he was okay, he just said he didn't sleep well. About 4 hours in, somewhere in Pennsylvania, Marcus turned to me with this expression I'd never seen before. His face was completely serious, almost scared. He asked me that question out of nowhere. If I had to choose between my mom and my girlfriend Emma to live, who would I pick? I laughed because I thought he was joking. We'd been playing dumb hypothetical games for years. Would you rather fight 100 duck-sized horses? Or one horse-sized duck? That kind of stuff. But Marcus didn't laugh. He just stared at me, waiting for an actual answer. I told him that was a weird thing to ask. He said he needed to know. His voice cracked when he said it. I said I couldn't choose. That the question was impossible. Marcus nodded slowly like that was the answer he expected, then turned toward the window and didn't speak for the rest of the bus ride. When we got to the hotel, he barely said 3 words to me while unpacking. The first day of the trip, Marcus kept disappearing. He'd be standing next to me at the Lincoln Memorial, and then suddenly he'd be gone. I'd find him 20 minutes later sitting on a bench somewhere, typing on his phone with his hands shaking. Our other friends noticed too. Tyler asked me if Marcus was sick or something because he looked pale all day. That night in the hotel room, I woke up at 3 a.m. to use the bathroom and found Marcus sitting by the window, staring at his phone screen. The light made his face look hollow. When I asked what he was doing, he shoved the phone under his pillow immediately and said nothing. Just couldn't sleep. The second day got stranger. We were at the Smithsonian, and Marcus grabbed my arm hard in the middle of the Air and Space Museum. He asked if my mom knew where I was right now. I said obviously. I'd texted her photos that morning. He asked if Emma knew too. I said yes, we'd been messaging all trip. Then he asked if they both knew each other's locations. Like, could my mom find Emma if she needed to? Could Emma find my mom? I pulled my arm away and asked what was going on with him. He opened his mouth to say something. Then his phone buzzed. He looked at the screen, and all the color drained from his face. He said he had to make a call and practically ran toward the exit. I followed him outside and watched him pace back and forth on the sidewalk, phone pressed to his ear, his free hand pulling at his hair. I couldn't hear what he was saying, but his body language looked desperate. He kept shaking his head, and at one point I saw him wipe his eyes. When he came back inside, I demanded answers. Marcus said he couldn't tell me. Not yet. He said it would ruin everything if he told me too early. That night, I went through his bag while he was in the shower. I don't know why. Some instinct told me something was seriously wrong. I found a notebook shoved under his clothes with pages of handwritten notes, addresses, times, my mom's work schedule, Emma's class schedule, a map with 2 locations circled in red. My hands were shaking as I heard the shower turn off. I shoved the notebook back and pretended to be watching TV when Marcus came out. He looked at me, then at his bag, and something in his expression shifted, like he knew. The last morning of the trip, Marcus handed me a letter and told me not to open it until I got home. He said I'd understand everything once I read it. His eyes were red like he'd been crying. On the bus ride back, he sat in a different seat, away from me, away from everyone. I watched him stare out the window for 7 hours, his leg bouncing, his hands gripping his knees. When I got home that evening, my mom was waiting in the driveway with a police officer. Emma's car was there too, which made no sense because she should have been at work. They both looked terrified. The officer asked if I knew someone named Marcus Wheeler. I said he was my best friend. The officer and my mom exchanged a look that made my stomach drop. That's when I remembered the letter in my pocket, and what I read inside showed me exactly why Marcus needed to know who I'd choose. The rest of the story is on my channel or linked below. I stare at the folded paper in my hands, suddenly aware of how loud my heartbeat sounds in my ears. The police officer is saying something to my mom, but his words blur into meaningless noise as I unfold Marcus's letter with trembling fingers. If you're reading this, I'm already gone. His handwriting is messier than usual, like he wrote it in a hurry, pressing so hard the pen nearly tore through the paper in places. I need you to understand why I asked that impossible question on the bus. It wasn't hypothetical. By now, they have your mom and Emma. 2 men. They're professionals. They do this for money. My stomach drops as I keep reading, the words swimming before my eyes. My cousin Ryan got involved with loan sharks last year. He kept borrowing more to cover his gambling debts. When he couldn't pay, they came after his family. They found out about me, about you, about the people you care about most. I look up at my mom standing in the driveway, her face pale with worry as she talks to the officer. Emma's car is parked crooked, like she arrived in a hurry. But if they're both here, then what is Marcus talking about? They're holding your mom and Emma at separate locations. They contacted me 3 days ago, right before our trip. Said if I didn't help them, they'd kill Ryan. Now they're giving you a choice. One lives, one dies. You have until midnight tonight to decide. No, I whisper, my voice cracking. No, that's not possible. The officer turns toward me. Is everything okay? I can't answer. My eyes are glued to the final paragraphs of the letter. There's a burner phone in the front pocket of your backpack. I put it there while you were sleeping. They'll call at 1:00 p.m. with instructions. If you go to the police, they'll know, and they'll kill both of them. The people you see at your house aren't who you think they are. They're actors hired to buy time while the real ones are being held. I'm so sorry. I never wanted this to happen. I tried to warn you without saying too much. They were watching me the whole time. I couldn't tell you directly, or they would have hurt them sooner. Marcus, P.S. The notebook you found was my attempt to figure out how to save them both. I've been tracking their routines, trying to predict where the kidnappers might take them. My hands are shaking so badly the letter falls to the ground. The woman who looks like my mom is walking toward me now, concern etched across her face. The officer follows behind her. Honey? She says. What's in that letter? What did Marcus give you? I take an involuntary step backward, my mind racing. If what Marcus wrote is true, then this woman isn't my mom, but she looks exactly like her, down to the small mole near her left eyebrow, and the way she tilts her head when she's worried. Where's Emma? I manage to ask, my voice barely audible. The woman who might not be my mom points toward the house. She's inside. She was too upset to come out. The police have been looking for Marcus since this morning. His parents reported him missing when he didn't come home with the rest of you. I glance at my watch. It's 6:42 p.m. If the deadline is midnight, I have just over 5 hours to figure out what's happening and make an impossible choice. Can I see Emma? I ask, trying to keep my voice steady. The officer nods. Of course. We just have a few questions about Marcus's behavior during the trip. His parents said he's been acting strange for weeks. I pick up the letter and fold it carefully, sliding it into my pocket. As we walk toward the house, I reach for my backpack. Slung over one shoulder, my fingers find the front pocket, and there it is, a cheap flip phone I've never seen before. Inside, Emma is sitting on the couch, her face streaked with tears. She jumps up when she sees me and throws her arms around my neck. I was so worried, she whispers against my ear. When the police called and said Marcus was missing, I thought something might have happened to you too. She feels real. She smells like the vanilla perfume she always wears. Her arms around me are solid and warm, but doubt creeps in, poisoning everything. Is this really Emma, or is someone playing an elaborate game? The officer asks me to sit down, pulling out a notepad. When did you last see Marcus Wheeler? On the bus? I answer automatically. He sat away from everyone on the ride back. Did he say where he was going when you returned? I shake my head, my mind racing. If these people aren't who they claim to be, every word I say could put my mom and Emma, the real ones, in more danger. He just gave me a letter and told me to read it when I got home, I say carefully. May I see that letter? The officer asks, extending his hand. I hesitate, Marcus's warning echoing in my head. If you go to the police, they'll know, and they'll kill both of them. It's private, I stammer. Just some stuff about our friendship. Nothing important. The woman who looks like my mom sits beside me, placing her hand on mine. Honey, if Marcus is in trouble, that letter might help find him. I pull my hand away, unable to stop myself. Her touch feels exactly like my mom's, but the seed of doubt has taken root. I need to check the phone, to know for sure what's happening. Can I use the bathroom? I ask. The officer nods, and I hurry down the hall, locking the door behind me. With shaking hands, I pull out the burner phone and turn it on. There's only one contact saved. Them. As I stare at the screen, a text message appears. Smart boy. Not showing the letter. The clock is ticking. Choose wisely. Mother or lover. We'll call at 1:00 p.m. exactly. Don't be late. My knees buckle, and I sink to the floor, back against the bathroom door. This is real. Someone has my mom and Emma, and Marcus's cousin is somehow involved. I have less than 4 hours to make a choice no one should ever have to make, and I have no idea what to do. I'm pacing the living room, still reeling from the letter, when my phone buzzes. Unknown number. My heart stops as I answer. Hello? There's static, then a familiar voice that sends ice through my veins. Honey? It's Mom, her actual voice, not the woman sitting 10 feet away watching me with concerned eyes. Please help me. I don't know where I am. Her words come out in a panicked whisper. Mom, are you okay? Where? No talking. A male voice cuts in. You got the letter. You understand the situation. Before I can respond, the call disconnects. I stare at my phone, my hands trembling so badly I nearly drop it. The police officer steps toward me. Everything all right? I nod mechanically, shoving my phone into my pocket. Just a friend checking if I made it home. Emma, or whoever this person is, touches my arm. You look pale. Should I get you some water? I flinch away from her touch, earning confused looks from both her and my supposed mother. I need to get away. To think. I need some air, I mutter, heading for the front door. I'll come with you, the officer offers. No, I say too quickly. I just need a minute alone, please. Outside, I pull out the burner phone again. There's a new text message. That was just a taste. Your mother is terrified. Your girlfriend is next. Remember, we're watching. Tick-tock. I'm about to pocket the phone when it vibrates again, but this time it's my regular phone. A text from Emma's number. Babe, I'm so scared. They made me text you normal things earlier. This is really me now. I'm in a dark room. Concrete floor. I can hear water dripping. Please help me. I think we're near the old paper mill. The tall guy keeps mentioning the warehouse district. I love you so much. I read it 3 times. If this is really Emma, she's giving me clues about her location. The old paper mill is across town, abandoned for years. But if it's the kidnappers playing mind games, I head back inside with a plan forming. I need to see what's on my laptop. Marcus's research might give me something to work with. I'm going to my room to lie down, I announce. This has all been too much. The woman posing as my mom nods sympathetically. Of course, honey. Let me know if you need anything. In my room, I lock the door and pull out my laptop. I search through my files until I find a folder I don't recognize. DC trip photos. Inside aren't photos, but PDFs, dozens of them. Articles about hostage negotiations, psychological profiles of kidnappers, statistics on ransom demands. Marcus was researching all of this. Preparing. There's a knock at my door that makes me jump. Honey? Not, Mom calls. The officer wants to ask a few more questions before he leaves. Just a minute. I call back, quickly scanning through more files. One document catches my eye. Cousin Ryan. Contacts. It's a list of names, phone numbers, and addresses. I recognize one of the addresses. It's one of the locations circled on the map in Marcus's notebook. I copy the information to my phone just as another knock comes. More insistent this time. Coming, I say, closing the laptop. I open the door to find the officer standing there alone. Your mom's making coffee, he explains. I just wanted to ask if Marcus mentioned anything about his cousin Ryan during your trip. We've been trying to reach him too. In stirred. My blood runs cold. No, he didn't say anything about Ryan. Why? The officer's expression darkens. We got a call while you were outside. Ryan Wheeler was found dead in his apartment about an hour ago. Apparent suicide. I grip the doorframe to steady myself. Dead? I'm afraid so. That's why we're especially concerned about Marcus, if he was close to his cousin. I nod numbly, my mind racing. This confirms part of Marcus's letter. His cousin was real, and now he's dead. But suicide? Or did the loan sharks kill him and make it look that way? I need to use the bathroom, I mumble, pushing past him. Once locked inside, I pull out the burner phone again. There's a new message. A video file. My hands shake as I press play. The footage is grainy but clear enough. Mom and Emma sit back to back on metal chairs, bound with zip ties. A timestamp in the corner shows this was recorded just 30 minutes ago. They both look terrified but unharmed. A masked figure walks into frame, holding up a newspaper with today's date. Proof of life, a distorted voice says. For now. Remember, choose one by midnight. The other dies. We'll call at 1:0 p.m. with instructions. I check the time, 7:38 p.m. Less than 2.5 hours until the call. I splash water on my face, trying to think clearly. Ryan is dead. Marcus is missing. Mom and Emma are being held somewhere, possibly near the old paper mill in the warehouse district. And whoever these people are in my house, they're not who they claim to be. I need to get out of here without raising suspicion. I need to find that warehouse. When I exit the bathroom, I find the officer putting on his jacket. I need to get back to the station, he says. But we'll keep looking for Marcus. Call if you hear from him. I nod, relief washing over me that at least he's leaving. One less person to fool. As the front door closes behind him, my phone buzzes again. Another text from Emma's number. I can hear trains. Close by. Regular schedule. Every 20 minutes. The train tracks run right behind the warehouse district. She's giving me more clues. The woman pretending to be my mom appears in the hallway. Are you hungry? I could make something. I force a smile. Actually, I think I need to drive around for a bit. Clear my head. Her expression shifts just slightly, but enough for me to catch it. Concern? Or calculation? I don't think that's a good idea right now, she says. It's getting dark. And you're upset. I need to do this, I insist, already moving toward the door. I won't be long. She steps forward, blocking my path. I really think you should stay home tonight. For a moment, we just stare at each other. Then the fake Emma appears from the living room. Let him go, she says softly. He needs space. Not Mom hesitates, then steps aside. Be careful, and keep your phone on. I grab my keys and head for the door, feeling their eyes on my back. As I start my car, I check the burner phone one more time. A new message has appeared. You're making a mistake. Go back inside or they both die now. I freeze with my hand on the gear shift. Then I look up at my house. Through the window, I can see not Mom on her phone, watching me intently. I put the car in reverse. I have until 10 p.m. to find the real Mom and Emma, and I'm starting with the warehouse district. I pull into the warehouse district with my headlights off, heart pounding so hard I can feel it in my throat. The area is exactly how I imagined it. Abandoned buildings with broken windows, chain-link fences topped with rusted barbed wire, and not a soul in sight. Perfect for hiding kidnapped family members. The burner phone buzzes again. Another message. Turn around now. Final warning. I ignore it. Scanning the row of dilapidated buildings. The old paper mill looms at the end of the street, its tall smokestack visible against the night sky. As Emma mentioned, train tracks run behind the buildings. Right on cue, I hear the distant rumble of a freight train. I park behind a dumpster and check my regular phone. The address from Marcus's cousin's contact list is for a warehouse 3 buildings down from the paper mill. That has to be it. My phone rings, it's not Mom calling. I silence it and slip out of my car, staying low and moving between shadows. The warehouse has a padlocked side door, but one of the windows is broken. I boost myself up and carefully climb through, wincing as a piece of glass slices my palm. Inside, the warehouse is cavernous and dark. Moonlight filters through high windows, casting long shadows across concrete floors. I use my phone's flashlight, sweeping it across empty space. Mom? I whisper. Nothing. I move deeper into the building, past rusted machinery and collapsed shelving. Water drips somewhere in the darkness, just like Emma described in her text. I'm in the right place. A noise from behind makes me spin around, heart leaping into my throat. Footsteps. Hello? I call out, louder now. Mom? Emma? The footsteps stop. Then a familiar voice comes from the shadows. You actually came. Marcus steps into the beam of my flashlight, looking exactly as he did on the bus this morning. Same clothes, same tired eyes. But now there's something else in his expression. Relief? Disappointment? Where are they? I demand, my voice echoing in the empty space. He sighs, running a hand through his hair. They're not here. What do you mean? I got the texts, the phone call. Marcus pulls out his own phone and taps the screen. A moment later, my burner phone buzzes with another message. I look down at it, then back at him. It was you, I whisper. The whole time. He nods slowly. I needed to know. Know what? Where are my mom and Emma? They're fine, he says, his voice flat. They were never in danger. I lunge forward, grabbing him by the shirt. What the hell is this, Marcus? Your cousin is dead. The police are looking for you. He doesn't resist, just lets me shake him. Ryan killed himself 3 days ago. Before we even left for DC. I found out the morning we left. So the loan sharks? The kidnappers? All lies? Marcus looks away. I needed to see who you'd choose. I release him and step back, stunned. What? If you had to save one of them, your mom or Emma, who would it be? I needed to know if our friendship meant anything to you. His voice cracks. If I meant anything. The pieces start falling into place. His strange behavior during the trip. The notebook with schedules. The research on hostage negotiations. The women at my house. I start. Are your actual mom and Emma? Marcus finishes. I never hired actors. That was just to make you doubt everything. My mind reels. The video. The phone call from my mom. Deepfakes. Voice synthesis. It's not even that hard anymore. He pulls out his phone again, taps something, and suddenly my mom's terrified voice plays from the speaker. Honey, please help me. Then Emma's voice. I'm so scared. I feel sick. You did all this. For what? A test? Marcus's eyes are hollow. When Ryan died, I realized how little I knew about the people I thought cared about me. He was in debt, desperate, and I had no idea. No one did. He died alone, thinking no one would choose him. So you decided to see if I'd choose you over my mom or girlfriend? I can't keep the disgust from my voice. Not choose me, he says quietly. I wanted to know who you'd choose, and why. I wanted to understand how people make impossible choices. A noise from outside makes us both turn. Flashlight beams sweep across the windows. Police, Marcus says. I called them before you arrived. You what? This has gone too far. He looks defeated now. I was sitting in that hotel room at 3 a.m., planning all this. And it made perfect sense. Create a scenario where you'd have to choose. See who matters most to you. But then I saw your face when you read that letter. The warehouse door crashes open, and officers pour in. Guns drawn. Police. Hands where we can see them. I raise my hands slowly, still trying to process what Marcus has told me. The officers approach cautiously. Flashlights blinding us. Marcus Wheeler? One of them calls out. That's me, Marcus says calmly. I'm unarmed. They handcuff him first, then me. An officer I recognized from my house earlier leads me outside while reading my rights. Through the open door, I see more police cars arriving, lights flashing across the abandoned buildings. The women, I say urgently. My mom and girlfriend, they're okay? The officer nods. They're fine. They've been at your house the whole time. Wheeler confessed to everything over the phone, the fake kidnapping threats, the manipulated photos, all of it. As they lead Marcus to a separate car, he catches my eye one last time. I'm sorry, he mouths. I just needed to know. I turn away, unable to look at him. In the distance, I hear another train passing every 20 minutes. Just like Emma said in her text. Except Emma never sent that text. Marcus did. The officer helps me into the back of a patrol car. Your mom's been calling nonstop since you left. She's worried sick. My real mom. Not an actor. Not a kidnapping victim. Just my mom. Worried about her son who disappeared after getting a disturbing letter from his best friend. What happens now? I ask as we pull away from the warehouse. We'll take your statement at the station. Wheeler's facing serious charges, false imprisonment threats, electronic harassment, possibly more. I lean my head against the window, watching the warehouse district recede in the side mirror. Marcus created an impossible choice that never existed. He made me question everything and everyone I trusted. And for what? To see who I'd choose? The worst part is, I still don't know what my answer would have been. The courtroom falls silent as I step up to the witness stand. It's been 3 months since that night at the warehouse, but the memory of Marcus's face in the flashlight beam still haunts me. The prosecutor, a woman with sharp eyes and a sharper suit, gives me an encouraging nod. Please state your name for the record, she says. After I do, she begins walking me through that night again. Each question peels back another layer of the nightmare Marcus created. As I speak, I can't help glancing at him sitting at the defense table. He looks smaller somehow, dressed in a button-up shirt that's slightly too big for him. He won't meet my eyes. And when did you first realize that the kidnapping wasn't real? The prosecutor asks. When I found him at the warehouse, I answer, my voice steady despite the knot in my stomach. He told me it was all a test, that my mom and Emma were never in danger. Marcus shifts in his seat, and his attorney whispers something to him. What did the defendant say was his reason for this elaborate deception? I swallow hard. He said he wanted to know who I would choose. My mom or my girlfriend. He wanted to understand how people make impossible choices. The courtroom murmurs, and the judge calls for order. I look at the jury, 12 strangers, trying to make sense of something I still can't understand myself. When the defense attorney cross-examines me, he tries to paint Marcus as troubled but harmless. My client never actually harmed anyone, correct? Not physically, I say, but he terrorized me. He made me believe the 2 people I love most in the world were going to die. The attorney's smile is thin. But they weren't in any real danger. I didn't know that. I snap. For hours I thought I had to choose which one would live. After I'm dismissed, I sit beside my mom in the gallery. She squeezes my hand as the forensic psychologist takes the stand. The doctor speaks in clinical terms about Marcus's pathological obsession with loyalty testing and escalating pattern of manipulative behavior. In Mr. Wheeler's notebook, the psychologist explains, we found detailed plans for increasingly dangerous scenarios. The kidnapping hoax was actually one of his milder ideas. The prosecutor presents the notebook as evidence, the same one I'd found in Marcus's bag during our trip. Now I can see all of it, not just the schedules and maps. There are pages of scenarios, each more disturbing than the last. One involves actually drugging Emma and leaving her in an abandoned building to test how quickly I'd find her. Another describes a fake car accident for my mom. In your professional opinion, the prosecutor asks, would the defendant have escalated to actual harm if not stopped? The psychologist's answer chills me. Based on the progression in his notes, yes. Each scenario became more extreme, with less concern for the psychological and potential physical harm to the victims. During a recess, I find Emma waiting in the hallway. She's been avoiding the trial, finding it too difficult to sit through. I don't blame her. How's it going in there? She asks, handing me a coffee. They're making it clear how messed up this all was, I say. His lawyer is trying to play it off as a prank gone wrong. Emma shakes her head. A prank? He made you believe you had to choose which one of us would die. When we first learned what Marcus had done, Emma was furious. My mom was just confused and hurt. They'd both thought they were helping Marcus plan a surprise party for me. He'd told them to act normal but mysterious when I got home, to play along with whatever happened. They had no idea about the fake texts, calls, or videos he was sending me. The worst part, Emma says, leaning against the wall, is that I actually liked Marcus. I thought he was your friend. So did I whisper. When court reconvenes, Marcus finally takes the stand in his own defense. He looks directly at me for the first time. I never meant to cause so much pain, he says, his voice cracking. After Ryan killed himself, something broke in me. I couldn't understand why he didn't reach out, why he thought no one would choose him over their own problems. His attorney guides him through gentle questions about his cousin's suicide, his grief, his deteriorating mental state during our DC trip. I found Ryan's body, Marcus continues. There was a note that said, no one would choose me anyway. I became obsessed with that idea. How do people decide who matters most? Would anyone choose me? I feel a complicated twist of emotions: anger, pity, disgust. The Notebook, his attorney says. Can you explain the more extreme scenarios? Marcus looks down. They were just thoughts, dark fantasies. I would never have actually done those things. But the prosecutor destroys this defense during cross-examination, methodically walking through the detailed preparations Marcus had made the voice synthesis software he purchased. The video editing programs, the burner phones, the warehouse reconnaissance. These don't seem like mere fantasies, Mr. Wheeler, she says. These seem like plans. When the verdict comes back 3 days later, guilty on all counts, I feel hollow rather than vindicated. The judge sentences Marcus to 18 months in a psychiatric facility, followed by 5 years probation. As the bailiff leads him away, he turns to look at me one last time. I'm sorry, he mouths again. Outside the courthouse, reporters ask how I feel about the sentence. I just shake my head and walk to my mom's car where she and Emma are waiting. They've become closer through all this, united by the bizarre experience of learning they were unwitting players in Marcus's twisted game. It's over, my mom says as I slide into the back seat next to Emma. But it isn't. Not really. I still wake up sometimes in a cold sweat, reaching for my phone to check for messages from kidnappers who never existed. I still wonder what I would have done if the choice had been real. What are you thinking about? Emma asks, taking my hand. The impossible choice, I admit. What if it had been real? Who would I have chosen? My mom catches my eye in the rearview mirror. You would have found a way to save both of us, she says firmly. That's who you are. I wish I could believe that. But the truth is, I don't know. And that uncertainty, that glimpse into the darkness of having to choose one loved one over another, that's what Marcus really wanted me to feel. As we drive away from the courthouse, I realize that's the cruelest part of what he did. Not the fear or the manipulation, but forcing me to confront an impossible choice that will haunt me long after his sentence is served. Some questions are better left unasked. Some tests better left unadministered. Some choices impossible to make, even hypothetically. But Marcus made me face it anyway. And now I'll never stop wondering what my answer would have been.